Pastor in Arizona has been arrested by police and charged with counts of child molestation after allegedly molesting several young girls at his church over the span of decades. According to a local news station, ABC 15, Phoenix-based pastor Jose Vicente Morales, 49, is being accused of dating an 8-year-old girl and then getting married to her in Mexico when she turned 10. He then allegedly impregnated her at the age of 13. Ooh, Jesus Christ. This guy is already a piece of shit. Now, police aren't sure exactly how many children Morales has molested over the years, but they say he may have molested or sexually assaulted at least 5 victims who were either members of the church or known to Morales outside the church setting. One victim who came forward claimed that Morales molested her between the ages of 7 and 12, while another claims that he sexually assaulted her after luring her to his home. Police began investigating Morales after one of his victims' mothers noticed that her daughter was intentionally hurting herself over the trauma of being molested. Now, here we go, man. Another pastor, another person who's in a position of authority caught abusing that authority to prey on children. See, this is why I'm going to have a really hard time trusting anybody with my kids when I have them, right? I'm not a parent yet, but this scares the crap out of me. Now, unfortunately, this seems to be a trend right now with the Christian church. According to the Crimes Against Children Research Center, 1 in 5 girls and 1 in 20 boys ends up being a victim of child sexual abuse. Now, the actual number, this is just estimated, but the actual number is actually not known, since many victims never end up speaking up. Now, according to Christian writer Tom Chalice, sexual predators gravitate towards the churches because Christians are taught to submit to authority in an atmosphere that encourages trust. Church programs also offer easy access to the children of parishioners. Now, of the epidemic of, sexual assault in churches, in religion, according to Raw Story, in just May of this year, there were 12 documented sexual assaults on children by pastors. So look, this is a real problem, right? Now, another problem that's related to this is how some churches and some religious people, I'm not saying all, but how some of them treat cases of sexual assault, right? And the example I want to go to is the Duggars, right? Now, in that case, the blame was placed on the victim for being assaulted. And that, of course, is unfortunately a theme in religion. Take Islam, for example. I don't bash Islam enough, I keep hearing, right? In some Muslim countries, women are forcibly covered up. Why? Because they assume all men are rapists, and if you show like an elbow or a leg or a foot or something like that, a shin, oh, how dare you show a shin, right? You're asking for it. You're asking to be raped. You're asking to be assaulted. You are sinning against God, okay? And it's your fault for doing that. Now, that happens a lot in Muslim countries. There's no doubt. But there is some of that mentality here in Christian America. For example, when a judge asks or somebody asks, oh, you got raped? Well, what were you wearing? What were you wearing? Oh, you got drunk at a party? What were you thinking? You knew, you should have known those guys were going to rape you. Because that's what guys do. No, it's not what guys do. Okay? It's not what guys do. It is very insulting to men, by the way, saying that implying that they're all rapists and that women should really be careful. Because, if you give them any opportunity, man, they're going to jump all over. They're going to rape you. Right? That is not the message we need to be teaching people. That is not the message. But, a good example of this, too, is where a judge in a recent rape case on a college campus told the victim, had this advice: you should have kept your knees together. You should have shifted a little bit so he couldn't penetrate you. What were you doing? And for the guy, the advice is, hey, you need to be careful so that you're not hurt. What kind of bullshit is that? That is not the message that we need to be telling people. But look, back to this guy, right? See, this guy is even more heinous, right, than, for example, Brock Turner, who raped a girl behind a dumpster. Okay? Look, these are kids. These are children, right? These are children that are entrusted into the care of someone that you're taught that you're supposed to be able to trust. Oh, look at that pastor, and he's a good guy. Look, in most cases, pastor is a good guy, right? A good, moral person, right? However, sometimes he could also be a predator, and that's super scary. Now, I don't know what to do about this other than to say, look, people, you got to think for yourselves, man. Don't just trust somebody because they claim to be a man of God, or they even claim to be somebody who's in a position of authority, right? Because certain people will always end up being attracted to that authority and use it for bad things. The other thing, that if somebody tells you, look, that, hey, man, that person did something inappropriate to me, you've got to listen to them. You've got to look into it. If your kid starts hurting themselves or acting out of the ordinary, you got to do something about it. You got to investigate. You got to find out what's wrong. Because look, when it comes down to it, sexual abuse is incredibly damaging and will scar someone for the rest of their lives. So please take it seriously. Take it seriously. I don't care if it's a pastor or your congressman or your spouse or your best friend. Take it seriously. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent, non-corporate media, go to our Patreon page and become a patron. Patreon.com/TYTNation.